Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Loom EGA version. So we did the Talkie CD-ROM version, now we're trying to madly rush through the EGA version because there's no talking here. Mostly there's one thing I want to do in this area that I missed in the other game. But otherwise I know exactly what to do and just want to rush through the game and see the difference in dialogue and responses. And it has been actually quite an amazing amount of difference. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to take perhaps the graphics of the FM Towns version, which is 256 colors instead of this, and turn that into and then just copy and paste the dialogue on top of that, and at least do a slightly better version than the talkie version. And then, so if you took the dialogue of the, so what I'm saying is take the dialogue of the original version, put it on the graphics of the FM Towns version, or the which still has the close-up shots of the characters. And then you potentially could just re-record the audio? I guess it does kind of, at a certain point, become kind of silly. You're doing so much. I didn't know you could walk back here, and this is clearly what I needed to do, I suppose. So we go in this crystal. There's a little glass bell here. Wonder what'll happen if. So this was the one thing we did. My head is swimming. And let's go look at this. So there is the fill command, but we don't have the capability, I think, of playing that song. So let's see. Every time you play the game, fill. Well, no, you don't. Okay. Alright, so fill could be GFFE. So GFFE. Guess that isn't a draft. And I need to play it backwards because it's actually an emptying command. So GEED, so it should be DEEG. That's not a draft either. So then it should be EDDG. Notice it always has G in it. And so now there's this red liquid in this chalice. Let's click on it. Nice, never seen a glass sparkle like this. It's not a glass, Weaver Threadbare. The chalice you so irrelevantly filled was carved from diamond crystal. Impressive. But I thought you were glassmakers. Indeed, behold the Chromax Conundrum. It was brought by the hand of our founding member, Lucent Bottleblow, whose works once filled a museum. 3 centuries ago, our fair city was plundered by a dragon. The greedy beast emptied our museum and treasury. Even Bottleblow's great masterpiece, the first scrying sphere, was lost. Hey, we find that later in the game. Fortunately, the conundrum was on loan at the Guild of Vintners at the time. It is the only remaining example of Bobbin's transcendent genius. Vintners are people that make wine, I believe. But why is it made of diamond instead of glass? We don't know. That's the conundrum. I wish I was old enough to drink. Oh, and there is a doorway right back this way. So I missed a little bit of conversation that I could have had slightly different there by not filling it up, but at the end it's not going to really matter. Just one little Easter egg thing. I will have to say though, this game is doing a great job of giving me more backstory and having something here that I like compared to the talkie version. Maybe I missed some of the talkie version and that's part of the problem. But if that is the case, then the game is just poorly designed, and I think it is. It's such an old game. You can tell. I can just make out what they're saying. I trust Your Excellency is pleased with our progress. That depends. How far ahead will I be able to see? He never explains why he wants this. At least 4 hours, with luck maybe 6. 6 hours, I thought we agreed to 8. Each of the spheres is unique, Bishop Mandible. It is impossible to predict how deeply this particular sphere will look. I need to see at least 8 hours ahead. 8 hours. See to it, Master Crucible. The customer is always right. There's a new line of dialogue. So, see ahead, question mark. So what's interesting about this is they're specifically saying 4 to 6 hours because by the time you should be done with this game, you shouldn't have actually spent that much time playing. But the story itself doesn't make too much sense. The bad guy is paying people to make food for an undead army, or an army of the dead, weapons for a dead army, and it wants a magic crystal for the dead army. It's really just like 3 random things that you could have thrown at a dartboard to figure out. So I need to know the invisible spell. So we have to come here. Halt. Who goes there? This runt was trying to sneak into our realm. Man, look at that green versus the green of the grass. The exact same color. I heard him coming 2 hills away. State your business with the Guild of Shepherds. I like the idea of a fantasy world where there's guilds of everything. I'm looking for a flock of swans. Swans? Right. Swans don't live in the woods, kid. Much better line than what they said in the talking version. Say, you don't suppose this is the wizard Fleece told us about? We don't know who Fleece is. He's dressed kind of like a wizard. Doesn't look very powerful to me. Come on, wizard, show us your stuff. Prove you're a wizard and you're not getting any further. So the game specifically puts this barrier here. So I just need to figure out the invisible. Well, instead of just trying blindly, let me look at my cheat sheet. And where are we? Just see. It's probably G, CCG, CCD, G, C, C, D. No, must be GCGC. That's not it. Then it must be the third one, GEEC. That sounds right. We are the masters of stealth, little wizard. The camouflage trick won't work on us. Okay, well then let's just walk away. It's always odd in a video game when they want you to actually walk away. He's leaving. Not much of a wizard, eh? It's also weird to have the dialogue on top of colorful backgrounds. Even when they are trying to do a little bit of a black outline, it's pretty difficult to read sometimes. Look at this mountain. 2 colors. 2 colors. That's all they can afford. What can you do with 2 colors? It's really like an artistic exercise. You're going to be given a palette of 16 colors, and you can't mix and match any of them. And what can you do? How can you put in contrast? How can you do outlines? Black is probably used in every single scene here, just as an outline, if I was to guess. I'm not sure if black specifically has to be one of the 16 colors, though, because you might be able just to use, well, turn off color and use black, but I'm not sure about that. So we need to do the invisible thing. Looks as if somebody's working up there. And so, let's see. The invisibility was GEEC. This is like one of the hardest solutions. That felt right. I think it worked. To realize you have to do the invisibility on the outside instead of doing the invisibility, say, here, or being able to select yourself and just make yourself invisible. If you could select yourself and do all of the spells, it would be an amazing way to add a bunch of like accidental suicides into the game. Did you get a load of that bishop switching around here like he owns the place? I wish the dialogue was either higher with a black background or lower with a black background. What do the clerics want with the sphere anyways? I thought they didn't believe in the future. Your guess is as good as mine. Crucible thinks they're up to no good again. So why is he selling them one? You know Crucible. He'll sell his own mother's spectacles if their terms were cash up front. Cash up front. Woo. Spheres ain't what you call cheap. Still, Crucible's not taking any chances. He figures if the clerics are looking for trouble, we're gonna be ready. So much backstory here we didn't see in the talkie version. That's why you and me are up here doing major overtime. Ouch, I see what you mean. One look at this little baby makes them clerics think twice about messing with us. And see, it seems just so pointless to have this element here. You didn't really need it. And I don't think there's really any spell or anything I can do with this scythe. This thing is sharp. Wow, did I just learn sharp? I think I just did. So this is where you were supposed to learn sharpening? Or at least it was one of your opportunities to. Since you don't need sharpening, I guess it makes sense that they could put it in two places. So what we need to look at is this to get the terrorizing spell. Even though I don't really need it. So that's either DFFD, EFFE, or FCCF. And I don't think it's FCCF. Wait, before we go though, let's look at the other things and go full circle. So we get the hint on how to solve the next section. And that's helpful. And then we get this. And I don't know if that is the open spell or it's just hinting of something at the end of the game. And I guess you didn't really need to get the sharp spell to use it, whereas it seems like in other times you actually do need the sharp spell. Kind of wish I could undye this green area. It seems like they probably retroactively put a joke in the game about him not liking the color green because they knew he was going to end up in this emerald glass city of green glass. Which the only green glass that I suppose in the 90s you would have had or known about is radioactive glass, which is still somewhat of a collectible. They put a little bit of radiation in it. I don't think it's dangerous or anything, but it glows in the dark, certainly. Glow in the dark used to be an amazing thing when I was a kid because there were so few other things to amaze us. Nowadays, it's still kind of cool, but I probably nowhere as interesting. So we're trying to rush through this as fast as possible. But there are certain points that you have to hit, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe you can skip some of it. Pretty complicated puzzle right here. It opens the possibility that you would get stuck in this puzzle and then not be able to finish for the rest of the game. Not like this game would have given you a refund if you were stuck, and they certainly love to make point-and-click adventure games like that. So they certainly didn't care if it was too difficult. Let's see. E, F, nope. E, F, F, E is the terror. And you get turned into the dragon, and we later learn that why they're afraid of the dragon. And he just says, "What fun," which is a totally different response than what he said in the talkie. So we need to see the sheep do the spell of the sleep. What's the big idea? You got my sheep all upset. Now I gotta round them up again. Come on, you guys, move it. See, that's just a scale song. So I should be able to figure out how that one works. It's AF ED, I'm sure. Well, I'm not 100% sure about any of these. Let's move on. And there's this graveyard with some really old graves that I don't think I need to look at, so I'm just going to skip it and go over here. Now what I'm noticing is that because there's a limitation on how much actual gameplay is here in any of the versions, even though it does feel like there's a significantly larger amount of dialogue in the original version, it's not an extremely large amount. You can't really, at a certain point, put 4-hour cutscenes of dialogue in a game this old. And because of that, there's certain limitations. I guess if you were making something like Final Fantasy or one of the Metal Gear games that are just tons and tons of cutscenes, you might be able to do that, but those are strange exceptions. I am named Fleece, first chosen of the Guild of Shepherds, so she knew about wizards. And you're obviously the mighty wizard I hired from the Guild of Mages. There must be some sort of mistake. Oh, the whole interaction's different. Your modesty is very charming, but there's no mistake. My border guards were extremely impressed by your display of magic power. Wow, so much more dialogue here. They did not tell me that you were also young and quite well-mannered. Were our plight not so serious, it might amuse me to know you better. I may have missed a line. Plight? Question mark? One of our clients placed an order for 10,000 fattened sheep. Why do you have to feed a dead army? That's enough to feed an army. I fear that may be exactly what the clerics have in mind. But we do not concern ourselves with how our customers use our products. You probably should. They probably won't get their sheep anyway. No? Why not? Our local dragon seems to have acquired a taste for fresh mutton. Our sheep are bred for extra whiteness. It can see them from miles away. Only a mage can save us from these winged pestilence. Thank you for answering my summons so quickly. The interaction's totally different. So let's talk about this. Ah, you've noticed my little patient. Patient, is she sick? Very. I don't think she's gonna make it. Oh no. Her mother was carried off by the dragon the day after she gave birth. Wow, the story is much more in depth there. The songs of healing don't seem to be doing good enough. Enough good. Songs? We shepherds are known for them. At least I thought we were. My grandsire taught me the magic notes. He said we got it from some other guild in exchange for the secret of stealth. And she is just singing these MIDI songs. I guess I'm not very good yet. Alright. So let's try healing, which I think I can do. It's either ACCA, AGGA, or CAA. So A tells me, wait a minute, how can I do an A when I don't have an A? Let's see. C, D, E, F, G. A would be the next one, and I don't have it. So the flock has been led to Pasture Wizard. Good luck with the dragon. So you can't save that one. I guess maybe we could try something here. Let's try opening the cemetery. E-C-E-D. Nope, that's wrong. It's so hard to do this in expert mode. Perhaps I shouldn't be trying that. So, anywhere there's a cemetery, you can do it. What's weird is that almost every game on Steam wants trading cards and achievements. There's just a amount of people that want that. Felice was right. These really do stick out. And I could think of a few achievements you might put into a game like this, but there's really no way to integrate it because you'd have to basically remake the game from scratch. And everybody wants trading cards for some crazy system that Steam's created, and it's so silly. Let's try this. CCCD for dying. C, 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 D. I don't think that's right. Let's see. It could be CD, CD, and I think that's right. And they all get turned green. And instead of a ridiculous scream, we get musical cues that play. So this is another song that's just missing from the talkie version. I thought you felt a little scrawny. So as the music was playing, they were talking, and I guess there's a little bit of a issue there where talking and reading and listening to music might contradict each other a small amount. And see, the dragon here is just black with purple outlines. That's all they can afford as far as colors. So we click on the gold, and then we've got to change it into straw, which I think will be DDDE. Nope, that's not the right draft, and I played it wrong anyways. Let's try ED. ED is back. Might do it. No, that wasn't it either. CDED. CD. No, that's wrong. CDED. That's right. And it all gets changed. My, aren't we clever today? Just put it back before you leave. Which, that statement is completely different from what we had before and see. Now I can do healing, but there's nothing to really heal. So the way I think the graphics work is it has to go to a complete black screen before it can change to 16 colors. So the animation we saw where it changed the gold into the straw, I think that's still part of its 16 color palette. It may be that there are actually only 16 of the same colors in the entire game. That is also a possibility. There's a slight difference. You can have 16 colors, but then tell some video cards what those 16 colors are. So maybe 16 shades of black, maybe 4 shades of red, 4 shades of green, 4 shades of yellow, 4 shades of blue. That might be how it works. But EGA being such an old standard, I'm not sure how it works. I wouldn't think that purple by itself was a default color if you only had 16 of them, but maybe it is. We need to do the terror combination, which I think is DFFD. So we'll see this. DFFD. Darn it. Misclicked. Nope, that wasn't it, so it must be EFFE. I don't know why I say must. There's always 3 options at least. Eek, fire! And boy, does the fire not look as good. And no comment from the peanut gallery. Interesting. When there is conversation so far, it has been very good. But to be fair, there still are a lot of places where it's just not there. There's nothing new. Seems so strange that they would have changed it in the first place. Just seems incredibly crazy. Bad production. Waste of your funding. You should have been working on a different game instead of making 3 different versions of the same game. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.